doesn't want the 10 guys, or she wants the one who has neglected her advances and who has spurned her advances. She will drop everything, all the love, the acceptance, and the comfort that she could have to chase the one jerk, because she has determined to fight a battle that will lead to her frustration and going insane, trying to change that one boy that has rejected her, that she really likes. She's going to spend the next 8 years trying to fix that one boy.
Exactly.
Honey, you have chosen a battle that you weren't called to fight.
Okay. Exactly.
And I speak from personal experience. I don't need to go to there. And many of you speak from personal experience.
Amen.
That's the way we are. We have unconditional love from Yeshua. We have unconditional love from brothers and sisters in Yahweh. And we keep going back, chasing that one woman, chasing that one man, trying to get them right when we have no ability. And if we ever do get them right, they're going to hate us behind our back for forcing them to be right. Because a man or a woman changed against their own will is of the same opinion still. Listen, let me help you girls. If there's a guy who fancies you, grab him. Guys, if there's a woman who fancies you, grab her. And stop trying to fight a battle that Yahweh has declared you a loser before the first shot is fired. Because we're not supposed to fight any battles.
Exactly. All right.
Can I hear a good amen?
Amen.
We are supposed to fight 0 battles. The battle is Yahweh's. Stand still and see the victory and salvation of Mashiach Yahshua. Look at verse 8. But trust me, when you don't get sucked into these skirmishes and these battles with no spoil, with no reward, they don't give up. They just get angry at you and then they run you down to other people.
Yep. Yeah, they do.
Look at verse 8. And conspired all of them together, look, to come and fight against Jerusalem and to harm it. So all of these opponents, all of a sudden, they all had their own agendas, notice. Shh. The Arabians, the Ammonites, the Ashdodites. But when Nehemiah, Nehemiah, and our forefathers refused to fight battles that were not theirs to fight and fall into the trap of their enemies, look what happened in verse 8. They all got together to fight against Nehemiah, against Sion, against Jerusalem, and harm it. Here's what's going to happen. At work, if you refuse to spend your time, your energy trying to change the 1 or 2 people who don't appreciate your hard work and don't appreciate your service at your job, and eventually they'll see that they cannot what? Fight you or change you because you refuse to fight and you refuse to get sucked in. They will hook up with other people at the job, and all of a sudden there'll be a conspiracy against you. Not that you did anything wrong, but you refuse to sink down to their level and to fight. And now all of a sudden they're all conspired against a man or woman who knows how to choose his battles wisely. See, and we can choose our battles wisely. You know why? Because we have the Ruach HaKodesh. The world doesn't have that benefit.
Amen. Amen.
We need to rely on the Ruach HaKodesh to say, this is something worth standing up for.
Right.
Look at verse 9. Nevertheless, Nehemiah says, we made our tefillah to our Elohim and set a watch against them day and night because of them. Verse 10. And Yehuda said, the strength of the bearers of burdens is weakening, and there is much rubbish, so that we are not able to build the wall. Verse 11. And our adversary said, they shall not know or see until we come in the midst among them and slay them and cause the work to cease. In other words, they paid them no mind. So when you pay your enemies and your opponents and your critics no mind, they don't give up. No. Now they want to come to conspire with each other to cause you to lose sight of your calling.
They're trying to take it.
That's why Rachel told Timothy, fight the good fight of Emunah. Because if you don't fight for your Emunah, the enemy will steal it through you being pressured into fighting your own battles, or the battles that you ought not to fight. Look at verse 11. So when you refuse to fight battles that have no reward or spoil, look what the enemy does. Then he comes into the midst to kill you and cause the work to cease. It came to pass that when the Yehudim who dwelt by them came, said to us 10 times, from all places wherever you turn, they are against us. Sometime when you are focused on doing Yahweh's will in your life, it seems that no matter where you turn, there are people waiting to suck you into a battle, into a peripheral issue that has nothing to do with your calling. It seems like everywhere you turn, there's another battle to be fought, and the enemy is trying to suck you into another battle to take you away from the high calling of Yahweh in Messiah Yeshua that He has given us. Can I hear a good amen? Amen. I said a good amen.
Amen.
It came to pass, the Yehudim said to us 10 times, for all places wherever you turn, they are against us. So I set the lower places behind the wall, and on the higher places I set the people according to their mishpachot, with their swords, their spears, and their bows. I looked and rose up and said to the nobles and the heads and the rest of the people, be not afraid of them. Remember Yahweh, who is great and terrible. Fight for your brothers, your sons, your daughters, your wives, and your houses. Look at that, verse 14. Nehemiah had to do first in his life to keep his focus on the project and on the calling to rebuild the walls of Yerushalayim. He was unable to comfort his brothers who were building and being sidetracked by the enemies of Yahweh from 10 different directions. And he said, look, be not afraid. Yahweh, who is great and terrible, fights for you, brother, your brothers, your sons, your daughters, your wives, and your houses. The battle is Yahweh's.
Amen.
As long as you don't get sucked in to fighting things that you cannot win, that you cannot overcome. When you get sucked away from your calling by getting involved in local skirmishes that are designed to suck your energy and to bring criticism to the point where you can't even function, then you know Yahweh will not fight your battles. You know why? Because you're busy creating battles and fighting them on your own. Yahweh will vindicate you. Yahweh will justify you. Yahweh will make things right, but you got to keep focused on what Yahweh has called you to do right now. Not yesterday, not 8 years ago, not 20 years from now. Right now, what is Yahweh's purpose in your life? Right now. If you can't answer that, that's why maybe you're having trouble receiving this message.
All right now.
How are you going to receive this message if you don't know? If I were to ask you right now, what is Yahweh calling you to do in your life? What is the main purpose you are breathing right now, today? And some of us can't answer that. So how do we turn around and teach others that Yahweh it is who fights for us? That Yahweh is great and terrible and awesome. It came to pass, verse 15, when our enemies heard that it was known to us that Elohim had brought their counsel to nothing, that we returned all of us to the wall, everyone to his work. See, they got back on focus because Yahweh had brought their counsel to nothing. When you don't know what to do, people say, well, you don't know what to do nothing. No. Don't let the enemy tell you that. You ever heard that a million times? Well, when you don't know what to do nothing. No, opposite. As a child of Yahweh, do we have any children of Yahweh here today? Amen. As a child of Yahweh, when you don't know what to do, go back to the last time and the last place where you knew what to do, and do that until new instructions come down from Yahweh.
Amen.
Go back to that last spot you knew what you were supposed to do, when we were supposed to do, and do that, and wait for further instructions.
Amen.
Don't just do nothing.
Amen.
Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Go back.
Yahweh.
Go back.
Yes.
To where you were doing what you were supposed to do.
Amen.
And it came to pass when our enemies heard that it was known to us Elohim had brought their counsel to nothing, we returned all of us to the wall, everyone to his work. Verse 16, Nehemiah 4:16. It came to pass from the time forward, half of my Avadim worked in the work, the other half of them held the spears. Shh. the shields and the bows and the breastplates and the